Huntington's disease, Todd here. Hey, I wanted today to talk about the Huntington's disease brain. I was out walking this morning and I thought, I could compare it to kind of like a computer versus compassion. If we look at the brain of a human being in general, but someone with Huntington's disease especially, we can kind of evaluate, or at least I have, how it has affected me, so I can relate to that. I kind of think of our brain as a supercomputer, right? We would all kind of think that our brain has more, you know, computing power than almost or any computer that's evolved yet. Also, our computer is slowing down. So I'm going to talk about our computer as a whole being, and then our computer is slowing down, and then also from a Huntington's brain, computers don't really have that. They don't have compassion or humanity. That's the one thing about computers that, men can't duplicate into a computer. I was talking about a computer as compared to our brain. Our brain can do magnificent things. The computers now can too. There was a time where a guy described it and he said our brain used to be, our computers, when they were developed originally, kind of were binary. They had a switch and the switch would kind of go back and forth like that. Over time now, with the supercomputers and all they're able to do with the AI and the creativity of computers now, he said the computers can go like this. That it's not a binary switch anymore. There are ways to make. So I'm going to say our brain is like that. Our brain is like that supercomputer. It has all those fingers moving. It has all those abilities. What happens with Huntington's disease, though, is that over time, we kind of go the backwards of that. We go from being the supercomputer to kind of being the more binary computer. Our brain starts ticking more like this back and forth again. So through that process, as our brain starts doing that, it'll also start, losing computing power. I think we all remember back in the days when, we had those big desktop computers and, the big brick underneath our desk. Those things would get clogged or, viruses or whatever it would be, or over time, they would get so many programs, they would start running slower. That's how our brain's getting. That's how the Huntington's brain is getting. So in that description, I would say, our brain is now becoming more like a slowed down, older version computer, a 64K computer. Some people might relate to that in the old school days. So our brain was once a supercomputer, but now it's slowing down, and now it's not even really as good as some of the, old computers that could control an old wristwatch, I think they said. But the point of it all is that as time goes on, our brain, as a Huntington's patient, starts slowing down. Now, you're probably going to say, well, everybody's brain starts slowing down or whatever. That's true, but the Huntington's brain slows down in a different way. We start losing some of the core parts of our memory, core parts of our computer that just happen to, if it's an operating system that makes the computer come on, that would be very detrimental to you because you couldn't even get on your computer. Well, sometimes it's like that with us. We lose a very detrimental part of our computer, so it makes our brain not do what it's supposed to do. So then we are, basically at the mercy of a daily challenge of, our brain and our computer changing. So computer versus compassion. That's what I originally said on this. The compassionate part of all this in our brain, and I've noticed this more and more, is that, computers, they don't have the humanity part of them. That's one of the things that, most people in the computing world say, well, a computer will never be able to think for itself. Unfortunately, with Huntington's disease, our brain starts going the backwards way there too. So we start losing our ability to do things, right? So we start losing our ability to compute. So as our brain and as Huntington's patients' brain starts getting, more worn down, we have less ability to have that compassion. But the compassionate part of it too gets lost. So in the computers don't have compassion. And unfortunately, with Huntington's disease, sometimes, we can be way less compassionate as well. So I say all this to say, as a loved one, as someone that has a Huntington's patient, try to think of it that way. Think of your spouse as someone with a computer in their brain that's really starting to get old and it's not working very well. You can kick the computer, You can't make it go any faster. You can get mad at the computer. I remember getting so mad at my computer, I would start slamming my fingers down on the keyboard, because that in those old days, they would slow down over time because their memory just wasn't that good. Well, that's how we are now. Huntington's disease patients have a slowed down memory, and there's not a whole lot you can do to make it kick back in. So the best thing you can do is try to just be compassionate yourselves and try to be patient with us, because our computer has definitely lost a step or two. So over time, just remember that, start thinking of your loved one more on, I don't want to say sterile basis, but, on a less humanity basis, because our brain becomes less humane, or there's just less humanity to us, not because we choose that, but because those parts of our computer are dwindling or fading away. So I hope that wasn't too confusing, but the bottom line is computer first, compassion. Unfortunately, we're more like a computer, and our compassion is kind of slipping away. So just think about that when you have to deal with the issues with your Huntington's disease loved ones. Hi, this is Huntington's disease Todd. Go to my page and subscribe. And to everyone, have a good day.